Hello. I'm sorry, my internet just completely went down. I don't know why that happened, but it did. I truly don't know what was happening, what's going on in that sense. But I'm just gonna restart and plug away from there because this is information that needs to get to people. No amount of shenanigans is going to stop me from trying to broadcast and bring information to you all. I don't know why, but the internet in my area just completely went down. And so, yeah, it took a toll on the live stream and I had to restart. So anyway, we are back. Hopefully you are going to be joining. There's literally 0 people in here. Oh, maybe 2. Okay, cool. Hopefully, this is about to pick up, but it is what it is. So if you are someone that just joined, please say hello in the chat. I'm just restarting because my internet all of a sudden just completely collapsed on me while I was mid live stream, so that really sucks. But we are back. And I'm here to try and break down everything that is happening because, oh my gosh, there is so much happening that it's so hard to even keep up. There's nothing that moves faster. There's only one thing that moves faster than the speed of light, and that is news in America. My shorts brought you forward again, LMAO. Well, hello, fake person. I'm glad that you're here. I'm going to just break down and inform you about objectively what has all just happened because it is crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Lynn. So everything that has been happening right now in the realm of foreign affairs in America is just really crazy. And look, it's not easy trying to understand. It changes so quickly. It's anxiety inducing. I mean, a nuclear war, I always say nuclear. I need to be better about that. Nuclear war is terrifying. I love your Trump voice. It's so funny. Are you sure? I think it's one of the best. It's one of the most fantastic voices on the internet. Let me tell you, some people say it's maybe the best, maybe the greatest. Some people say it's huge. It is so crazy what has been happening right now. And I appreciate you all being here. I was actually live for a while, but then my internet just completely bugged out. So I'm trying to recover from that. So let's get into everything. So over the past 48, 72 hours, it has been crazy. It has been crazy. Let's recap here. You're like, wait, hold on, what? Yes, let's recap what has exactly happened. All right, I'm literally scrolling all the way back in my camera roll. Here we go. Let me give you a quick little summary, and then I'll show you the graphics and everything to back everything up. All right, we, the United States and Israel, are allies, so we are partnered in an alliance. Israel convinces us, the United States, to bomb Israel's nemesis, Iran. Because Israel is telling us, hey, they have dangerous weapons. They are enriching uranium to be used for nuclear weapons. Which is actually not true because our intelligence community, led by Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, appointed by Trump, said, yes, there is no evidence that they're actually enriching uranium in order to make these nuclear weapons. They are enriching uranium, but it's likely instead going to be used for scientific research as well as stopping blackouts from happening in their country, because Iran often suffers from blackouts. So, like not having electricity and stuff like that. So we are coerced by Israel to bomb Iran over them enriching uranium, which there's no evidence showing that they're doing that with nefarious intentions. Still, Israel hates Iran, convinces us to bomb Iran, and so we bomb them. Then they bomb us back at a base in Qatar, an American base in Qatar, which is another country. Qatar, however you want to say it. Donald Trump comes out and says that both Iran and Israel approached him saying that they want a ceasefire. I'll show in a second. Andrew, Andres. And basically, then Trump says, we both want a ceasefire. So Donald Trump goes out on Truth Social and says, all right, we've negotiated a ceasefire. It's fantastic. It's incredible. It's great. And then literally both countries break the ceasefire and start bombing each other. That is a summary of what has happened. And now we are basically in this weird not war-esque type situation because our president launched military strikes on a country we are not at war with, and not as a defensive purpose either, which also violates the Constitution, which you can argue that many other presidents have also done in the past, which does not make it okay. So that's not Trump's fault, though. I never said that it was. I'm not like did I say the word fault at all? Don't assume things from my language. You can think critically for yourself. So that's basically a quick summary. Let me give you all the details. We are convinced by Israel to bomb Iran over this idea that they have dangerous weapons. All right? Over the fact that they have dangerous weapons. So we bomb Iran. The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on 3 nuclear assemblies in the Iranian regime: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. And this was an operation that was called like Operation, it was called like Operation, what was it? Midnight Hammer. Yes. Operation Midnight Hammer is what it was called. We used a whole bunch of bombers, 125 military aircraft, including 7 B-2 stealth bombers. And basically, Donald Trump says, we've completed our very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites. All right, now is the time for peace. So Israel convinces us to bomb their nemesis, Iran, over the idea that they are enriching uranium. All right, so Iran is enriching uranium. But let me tell you, our intelligence community has basically come forward and said, yeah, they're enriching uranium, but there's no evidence showing that they're going to use that enriched uranium for any dangerous activities. So you basically have Tulsi Gabbard, who is the director of national intelligence, basically come forward and said, yeah, there's no evidence that they're actually using that enriched uranium to build weapons. So, and Donald Trump literally says, I don't care what she said. I don't care. So speaking to reporters on the way back from Washington, making an early exit from the G7, the president was asked about Tulsi Gabbard's March testimony, March of this year, where she went before the House Intelligence Committee. Remember, Tulsi Gabbard is a Trump appointee for the Director of National Intelligence. Says, hey, the intelligence community has assessed that Iran was not and is not working to build a nuclear weapon, despite uranium enrichment. Sure, they're enriching uranium, but doesn't look like they're going to be using that to build a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump says, I don't care what she said. I think. Notice how Donald Trump doesn't need evidence. He just says, I think. He doesn't cite any. During her March 26th appearance before the House panel, Gabbard says to the USIC, the United States Intelligence Committee, that they had continued to assess that Iran is not building any sort of nuclear weapons. And in fact, that Iran's supreme leader had not authorized a nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. Instead, she assessed, hey, it's very likely that they're using this for research and in order to stop Iran from facing electricity blackouts. Again, this is a Trump appointee. I'm not a fan of Tulsi Gabbard. I'm not. I will say that look, like, she used to be a former Democratic congresswoman, started basically appeasing and endorsing Trump. I'm not a fan of her, but I don't know of what reason she would have to lie. She goes and takes an oath before the Senate, before the House Intelligence Committee, and basically says, yeah, they're not doing any of this. I'm going to trust what the intelligence community says. Like, if the intelligence community, they're the people who inform Trump about how to make decisions, and then he goes, ignores them, and decides to bomb the country anyway, that is way more of a threat than anything. So Tulsi, this is from Responsible Statecraft. Tulsi said Iran is not building nukes. And one senator after another, Republican senators, and I would not be surprised if some Democrats are in there too, ignoring her. So literally you have so many different senators: Tom Cotton, Mike Rounds, Todd Young, Ted Cruz, John Cornyn, like all these people just ignoring her. And of course, they're funded by AIPAC, which literally is the lobbying arm of Israel. So basically all of that happens. And look, again, I'm not a fan of Tulsi Gabbard, but she's like, yeah, there's no evidence that Iran is building any sort of nuclear weapons. None whatsoever. All right? Trump ignores that, decides to bomb Iran anyway. So we bomb Iran over the fact that they are enriching uranium, which our intelligence community says they're not using for any sort of nuclear weapons. Trump says, I don't care. I just want to blow shit up. I just want to blow it up. Blow it up, not like the bathroom stall at Taco Bell, but let me tell you, I want to blow it up. I'm going to blow it up. So we, as the United States, go and bomb Iran per the request of Israel, our biggest ally, who is like, Iran is Israel's nemesis. They hate each other. These are two Middle East countries that hate each other. So Israel coerces us, their biggest ally, in order to bomb their nemesis over this idea that they are using the enriched uranium to build weapons, which our intelligence community says, yeah, they're not doing. So we basically just bomb a country over a lie. Oh my God, what does this feel like? This feels a lot like Iraq, Afghanistan, weapons of mass destruction. It's literally like the defense military industrial complex is literally playing the same playbook over again and thinking that we have forgotten all about it. To the Republicans that criticized that, what makes this any different? It's literally the exact same. And by the way, to all the rage typers that are completely off base and have no substantive answers, will you literally just shut up and listen? Like, seriously. It's so childish. So going forward, then what happens is that Iran, because we bombed them, they decide, you know what, we're going to go and bomb the United States. We're going to bomb the United States' one of our military bases. Let me get to that. Hold on here a second. So Iran launches missiles at a U.S. air base in Qatar. Fortunately, there were no casualties reported. So they go and bomb us at a military base in Qatar, which is another country. But all the while, this was then shared. This was on Fox News. Literally, their Pentagon reporter is like, you know what? We actually don't even know if we actually eliminated the uranium. We don't know where the uranium actually is. This is on Fox News. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, our president, is basically saying that we've completed very successful mission on the attack of these sites. They've been completely buried. Let me tell you, they've been obliterated. The sites in Iran were hit totally and destroyed. The fake news will go on and say anything different. Literally, even Fox is like, yeah, we don't know where the enriched uranium is. So we, the United States, just bombed a country over the fact that, they have enriched uranium. But then they can't even confirm that the sites that we hit actually had it. So we bombed a country over nothing. You're not mishearing me. That's exactly what we are seeing. It's like if they didn't, oh God, it's so crazy. All right. Then, so they bomb us. Then Donald Trump comes out and says, comes out in June, comes out and says, that, hold on a second. The sites were completely destroyed. They were completely destroyed. You know, they've responded. They bombed us, you know. But let me tell you, congratulations. It has been fully agreed upon between Israel and Iran. This was literally like, what, 12 hours ago? I'd have to double check the timestamp. But he literally posts and says, congratulations, it has been fully agreed to that there is a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, a complete and total ceasefire. Complete and total ceasefire. Let me tell you, it's one of the best. It's fantastic. It's great. You know, it will be known as, for 12 hours, will be known as the 12-day war. It'll be known as the 12-day war. In the history books, everyone will be praising me, how much of a leader I am. You know, it's fantastic. It's great. It's huge. It's huge. All right. Then he starts basically like sucking himself off by posting all these, like, I guess, Trump memes about how he's a pro-peace president after we bombed a country for no fucking reason. We dismissed the intelligence from our own country. How, oh, they're enriching uranium, but it's not being used to build any nuclear weapons. We're like, Donald Trump's like, we don't care. I just want to bomb them. Let's blow crap up. Let's blow it up. So we just bomb another country, piss them off. Now they bomb us, which puts American lives in danger. And we do this all at the bidding of Israel, our biggest ally. Then we say, oh, listen, let me tell you, I negotiated a ceasefire. It's fantastic. Then our president goes and literally posts all these things like that he's the greatest and best, you know, person. And says, Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said peace, peace in the Middle East, prosperity, love, peace, understanding, great promise, bless you both, yada yada. Posts more things, basically just sucking himself off. Then literally says, the ceasefire is now in full effect. Please do not violate it. Please do not violate it. This is 8 hours ago now. I took this screenshot about, you know, an hour or so ago. Literally, he posted this 8 hours ago. Then says, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you drop it, it's a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. So literally, after Donald Trump says that he negotiated a ceasefire with these people coming to him wanting a ceasefire, guess what? Israel and Iran start bombing each other. After Donald Trump said that he negotiated a ceasefire. Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. So, Donald Trump thinks that he mastered a ceasefire between the two, but this is what actually happened in reality. In reality, Iran said, we as of now, there is no agreement on any sort of ceasefire, military operations whatsoever. The military operations, you know, that we're doing, you know, we're angry. And like, even on CNN, Iran has not received any ceasefire proposal. So Donald Trump is lying out of his ass. Oh my God, really? Saying that he negotiated a ceasefire when he didn't even do that. His negotiating a ceasefire is trying to cyberbully and cyberforce these countries through an online platform that he owns in order to coerce them and their leaders to do his bidding. Which, of course, I want peace as much as the rest of them. Of course I do. But, like, Donald Trump thinks that he's in control. He's not. He's literally a whiny billionaire that was tricked by Netanyahu to blow a country up over the fictional thing that they are using the enriched uranium in order to make these weapons, which in reality, there's no evidence to show that they're using the enriched uranium to make weapons. And you're like, oh, well, they're enriching uranium. They must be making weapons. Not necessarily. I've been using this metaphor a lot. I can be sharpening a knife in a kitchen. That doesn't mean that I'm going to use it to stab someone. It could very well mean I'm about to cook a meal. So just because they're enriching uranium does not mean that they are going to use it for a nuclear weapon. And in fact, our intelligence community says, yeah, they're not building any nuclear weapons. What kind of incentive would Tulsi Gabbard or our entire intelligence community have to lie about that? Why would they lie? Is this to make Donald Trump look like even more of a fool? Imagine, like, you think, oh, they're trying to insult Trump. No. Our intelligence community is literally saying, yeah, there's no evidence that they're actually doing that. What motive would they have to lie? None. None. And here's the thing. I yearn for the days in which our policy was actually motivated not by desire, but actually by evidence. Here's the thing. I don't think it's a great idea for our country to just bomb another country over the fact that we believe that they have weapons. No. We should only do such actions if we know. If we know that they're dangerous. See, it's literally the military-industrial complex is trying to instigate as much conflict as possible so that they can get more and more contracts using our tax dollars to build more weapons to blow more crap up. That's how it works. The military-industrial complex must appease its shareholders. They need more money for more contracts, to build more weapons, to do more war, in order to feed the greed of the complex. It happens under both Democrats and Republicans. But don't be disillusioned that it's equal on both sides, because this happens under Republicans at a significantly higher extent. Someone says acknowledge comments. It's my live. I don't have to do anything. Oftentimes the comments are just completely off base anyway, with people screaming things at me. Like, no, I'm not going to acknowledge comments. If you're getting triggered over that, maybe you're a snowflake. That all being said, it's also my live stream, so I don't have to do anything. And basically what we have now is Iran and Israel have both violated the ceasefire. So new missiles outbound from Iran towards Israel are happening. They are actually unaliving people. So missiles have hit Israel, and these are some of the targets. Now, if you're like, oh, well, it's only Iran hitting Israel, that's not true. You literally also have Israel launching missiles on Iran, bombing places in Tehran. So, the Israeli Defense Prime Minister Israel Katz said on Tuesday, today, that he had ordered the military to strike Iran. That was in response to what he said were missiles fired by Iran in violation of the truce. This is all from Reuters. So, it was in that brief window on Tuesday morning that Iranians had welcomed the ceasefire, saying it should have come sooner. Well, you're the one that's also bombing Israel. So, and by the way, for people like, well, what side are you on? I'm on the side of peace, diplomacy, and ending the violence. And guess what? It also starts with acknowledging that America was the one that started this conflict, coerced by Israel in order to then bomb Iran. Look, for anyone that's like, oh, well, don't blame the United States. Yes, they were the ones that bombed Iran per the request of Israel over the idea that they have these dangerous weapons, which they don't have. They ignored our intelligence community. I hate to break it to you, but we are not as much of a goody two-shoes on the world stage as other people might believe. And I am as American as they come. I am born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina. I am a southern little gay guy. Okay, I am as American as they come. My ancestors were actually American settlers on one side of my family. The other side were immigrants. That all being said, being patriotic also acknowledges our shortfalls, in my view. It means that we understand what our weaknesses are. We understand what we can improve upon. The United States literally dismissed the intelligence from our own country in order to be so warmongering that they blew up another country, possibly leading to another world war. We are not the goody two-shoes on the world stage as everyone in this country is brainwashed into believing. Being a real American means that you understand the strengths and the weaknesses of our own country. It doesn't mean that you don't love your country. Think about it like this. You love people. You love people. You don't always love what they do. So, you know your best friend that has that really, really bad habit of doing those things. You love your best friend, but they do that really, really bad, awful stuff that you don't like. We as America are continuously funding a genocide overseas. Me calling it out, it's like, yeah, it doesn't mean I hate my country. It means that I want them to be better. I forget who it was. I believe it was someone that was like becoming free from enslavement that said, I strive to live in America that lives up to its promise. Me too. Me too. And all of this just gets crazier because now you see all the damage that has also been happening. Furthermore, I mean, these explosions are happening in real time. Donald Trump called for a ceasefire, announced that there was a ceasefire, and these two, so someone said, bro just likes to talk, not saying anything. You know, it's not my fault that you literally have the inability to listen. Like, and that's the thing. It's not my fault that you all have the inability to listen. And this is why I literally just have to turn on some chat filters, because there's so many people that are just obnoxious and they take up space. Meanwhile, they have nothing substantive to say. They have nothing substantive to say. None whatsoever. So you'll see that Donald Trump announced that there was this ceasefire that had happened. Congratulations! There's been a ceasefire. There's been a ceasefire, and it's fantastic. It's great. Everyone loves each other. You know, everyone loves each other. But then, literally right after that, you have these two bombing each other. Multiple dead after Iranian strikes in Israel. You know, Iran bombing Israel. Then you also have, you know, explosions in Iran because Israel has launched missiles on them. And all of this is just so crazy. Donald Trump even said, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I'm really unhappy. I'm really unhappy. He says that he's unhappy with Iran, but also emphasizing that he's unhappy with Israel, maybe even more. Meanwhile, the right-wing media completely just sucking off Trump literally is saying, look, rather than 34 felony counts, President Trump may end up with 34 Nobel Peace Prizes. Ew, like what in the world are you talking about? There's no amount of shamelessness or depravity that these people have. No amount of shamelessness or depravity. Like, these people are just going to lie out of their ass in order to then please Trump. Same with Katie Britt. President Trump is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, no doubt. You bombing a country over ignoring your own intelligence, then as soon as you do that, deciding to then say, okay, no more violence, let's negotiate a ceasefire, which they never agreed to, is not preconditions for a Nobel Peace Prize. This is what the right-wing media does. This is their paid, distributed talking points. They all say all of that. Like, it's just crazy. Free Lunch Freddy. Oh, that's a fun name. It's forbidden by Islamic law to have weapons of mass destruction. It's why they didn't find any in Iraq and Iran. Totally Islamic beliefs and abides by Islamic law. Briar Creek here. Oh! You live in Raleigh area? That's cool. I can neither confirm nor deny that since I don't know Israel law. I am inclined to believe that, although, again, I would have to double check that. I appreciate you sharing that. And Free Lunch Freddy is kind of a cute name, so thank you for sharing that. Again, I'm not an expert on what Islamic law says. I'm never going to speak to things that I don't know. But at the same time, I mean, knowing that to be true, or if that were assuming that to be true, then it would make a lot of sense. So, thank you for sharing that. Though, also, Donald Trump is apparently really, really pissed because, like, this is what he said. This is what he said early this morning. So, President Donald Trump issued a blunt warning to Israel on Tuesday, this morning, not to bomb Iran as he departed for the NATO summit in The Hague, taking a critical position just 24 hours after brokering a fragile ceasefire already threatened after a military strike from Iran, and also missiles into Iran from Israel as well. Speaking to reporters before takeoff, the president said that both Israel and Iran had breached the terms of the truce and made clear that he was not pleased with Israel's promise to launch retaliatory strikes against after agreeing to the deal. Asked by a reporter of whether Iran had violated the ceasefire, Trump replied, "They violated, but Israel violated it too." So, Donald Trump thought that he had negotiated a ceasefire, but in reality didn't. The president continued, "Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen." Sorry. "The biggest load. People tell me I have the biggest load. Load it up, squirt, squirt. It's all over the place. Let me tell you, Melania says that she loves it. Melania said it's one of the biggest loads, the load of bombs. Look, we could be talking about weapons. We could be talking about, appendages. We could be talking about so much more. But let me tell you, they dropped a load of bombs, the likes which I've never seen before. They were saying, oh, you're coming for me. And I said, oh, yes, please. Yes, ma'am. We got this. Yes, God." My Trump impression is just a little gay, and I think some people do appreciate that. I'm thinking about trying to take it on the road at some point. "The biggest load that we've ever seen. I'm not happy with Israel." He added, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and drop everything on them, so I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either, but I'm really unhappy if Israel's going to go out this morning because the one rocket that they have didn't land, that it was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. Also, if you're enjoying the stream, please make sure to like the stream. It really does help. And also, I appreciate every single one of you. If you're new here, my name is Scott. I am a political news journalist, former political organizer that needed health insurance, so now I work in hospitality in the corporate world. So, that's fun. But at the same time, I'm trying to build myself up, so I appreciate every single one of you that's here. So this is just, it's all over the place. And if you just look at the headlines, and this is when I took the screenshots about, an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, this is what you see. Breaking, Trump announces Israel will stand down. The ceasefire is in effect. Then, just in, Trump goes berserk on Iran and Israel as ceasefire deal crumbles. Trump tells Lawrence Jones he's angrier than ever as Israel, then Iran over ceasefire. Trump then rages at CNN, MSNBC, and on White House lawn over skeptical coverage. But let me also just again repeat, this all was completely unavoidable. Or this all was completely avoidable. This all was completely avoidable. Why? Because we bombed a country over the fact that they have enriched uranium, while our intelligence says there's no evidence, none, zip. Sorry, this is like, yeah, no. There's literally zero evidence that they are using that enriched uranium to then make weapons. This is what the military-industrial complex always does. They amp up fear and hate and racism. Oh no, this country has these dangerous weapons. We must retaliate. We must wage war. The military-industrial complex literally unilaterally makes decisions. You think Trump makes those decisions? No. The military-industrial complex, the executives at Raytheon, Daniel Defense, Boeing, even, you could even argue possibly even people like Elon Musk, I don't think he's a part of necessarily the military-industrial complex, but he's a part of a big tech organization. I'm saying there are a lot of people that literally have to please their shareholders. Shareholders are the people who invest in these big companies. In order to make more contracts, to build more weapons, you need to increase the fear. If they can then animate the fears of Americans, they can try to weaponize our inherent racism that often we've been raised with in order to fearmonger about Iran. Oh, these dangerous people. These dangerous people have these dangerous weapons. They use all of this in order to then justify violence, even though our intelligence community is like, there's no evidence showing that they're actually building any weapons. But see, that doesn't bode well for the military-industrial weapons complex. They have to have a target. They have to make more weapons. They have to get more tax dollars. They have to then make more profits to please their shareholders, to make war. It doesn't matter if it marginalizes someone. It doesn't matter if it unalives someone. It doesn't matter if it does a genocide against someone. It doesn't matter if it leads to global instability. They have to please their shareholders. The same way that United Healthcare, they had to deny a certain amount of people in order to make money for their shareholders. Doesn't matter. The health insurance coverage, the healthcare, the care that is that's the externality. They don't care about that. It's the money. It's the money that they need. So it's just really infuriating how all of this happens. And it's because the military-industrial complex needs to then make more money. War is a money-making enterprise. It is. And it doesn't matter if they have to hype up, dramatize, or completely lie out of their ass in order to then fearmonger about a country building nuclear weapons when there's no evidence to show that. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. So, and like, we bombed Iran over these military weapons when in fact, they don't even know where the uranium is. So all of this is just completely avoidable. It's completely avoidable. And it's just incredibly frustrating to see. It's incredibly frustrating to see. So anyway, I appreciate every single one of you. I really, really do. Even if you don't like me. I hope that kind of clears some stuff up. Who knows? Things could have changed in the last hour or so. Like this is all happening right now in real time. And it's exhausting. If you're looking at this kind of stuff, it is exhausting. It is quite exhausting trying to deal with all of this. And if you're someone that isn't the most politically knowledgeable, I don't blame you. Let me go on a little bit of a tirade for a second. Let me tell you about why I do this work. There are a lot of people who work paycheck to paycheck. They are taking care of their elderly parents, taking care of young kids. They work a 9-to-5 job. They do all this stuff that they're so busy with things in their lives, it's hard for them to be tuned into things politically. I hear you and I see you. As someone who was told what to believe and not given the empowerment on what to believe, I truly care about giving you just information. I will share my opinion. You don't have to agree with my opinion. I'm here just to give you information. There are a lot of people out there who purposely will build up a platform in order to make notoriety for themselves, but their main goal is also money. I'm here to inform you. I have a normal job. I go to work in 54 minutes. So, someone said, please explain why you're a grifter. No, that's a loaded question. How am I a grifter trying to inform you and give you the autonomy to make decisions for yourself? See, and this is the thing. Anyone who is like weirdly obsessed, has a weird hate fetish with me, please go and consult like a psychiatrist or a counselor. Seriously, please do. Like, I see them too many times. Like, dude, chill. Someone said there's a spider on your head. All right, I guess it will just have to bite me. See, this is the thing. I literally do these live streams and people have nothing substantive to say. That all being said, I care about trying to give you all information. I try to give you information. You don't have to agree with my assessment, my analysis, or my opinion. But it's sometimes so hard to know what to believe. It's so hard to know what to trust. That's why I do what I do. Because I try to cut through all of the noise and just give you the information. So let me give you just a quick little rundown here. So, MFN, oh my God. Let me give you a quick little summary. Again, the United States is convinced, I should say, by Israel, our biggest ally, that Iran, Israel's nemesis, is doing these nefarious things by enriching uranium. Now, uranium enrichment could mean that they are making nuclear weapons, but it doesn't necessarily substantively mean that they are. The same way that I could be sharpening a knife in a kitchen doesn't mean that I'm going to be then sharpening it to stab someone. It could also mean that I'm sharpening it to then prepare a meal. So, Iran enriches uranium. Our intelligence community, led by Tulsi Gabbard, who was appointed by Trump, basically said, hey, there's no evidence to show that they're actually going to be enriching uranium for nefarious purposes. You know, when you break it all down, there's no evidence showing that they're doing this to then build any sort of nuclear weapons. She testifies before Congress saying this back in March. She's like, yeah, Iran is not building a nuclear weapon. They are enriching uranium, but they're not using it to build any nuclear weapons. Our president ignores his own intelligence director and instead says, you know, I think they're close to having one. I think. You know what's so dangerous? You ever met someone that's like, I think this, therefore I know. No. If you think something, you are presuming. You are assuming. You don't know for sure. If I were to say that I think something is happening, it doesn't mean that it is. It's my presumption. See, that's the thing. Never go upon assumed language by people. If I say I think something is happening, it doesn't mean that it is. It means that it very well could be. That's for you to make a decision. That's for you to then think critically. So, yeah, if someone said in here, you mean like how your people think Trump is bad? Right, that's my view, that's my opinion. You can have a different one than me, dude. Is that an attempted gotcha moment? Because that doesn't prove anything. So, that all being said, our intelligence community comes forward, testifies under oath, and says, hey, Iran is enriching uranium, but there's no proof they're using it to then build any sort of nuclear weapons. Donald Trump says, I don't care, I think they're close to having one, so let's bomb them. So, thank you, Christina, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you saying that, Christina. So, basically, we, the United States, go ahead and decide to bomb Iran, per the request of our biggest ally, Israel, over the fact that, oh my gosh, they have they're using this enriched uranium to build weapons, which again, our intelligence community says that there's no evidence to show they're doing that. So, in conclusion, we basically bomb another country, even though our intelligence is basically saying there's no reason for us to bomb it. We do that at the request of our biggest ally, Israel, that hates Iran. Then, Iran, obviously pissed, decides to fire back. They say, okay, you bomb us, we're going to bomb you. So they bomb an American base in Qatar. Qatar is another country that's nearby. It's actually just across the believe that's the Red Sea. I'd have to double check my geography. So they bomb us. They bomb one of our bases in Qatar. Let me pull it up here real quick. Hold on. I prepare so many graphics for my morning live stream. It is crazy. Yeah. So Iran launches missiles at a U.S. airbase in Qatar. Fortunately, there were no casualties reported. None. Now, what's also interesting is at the same time, as Donald Trump is basically saying that, the sites in Iran that we hit were totally destroyed. Everyone knows they were completely leveled. There are reporters going on. There are people appearing on Fox News basically saying, actually, we don't know where the enriched uranium is. So we bomb a country trying to take out their enriched uranium, which our intelligence says that they're not using to make nuclear weapons. And they don't even know if they actually hit it, or if it was moved, or if it was transported. So we basically bombed a country in order to eliminate this thing that we don't know if we actually eliminated. No, you're not mishearing me. This is what... It's pretty safe to say that whenever you think of foreign policy, it is going to be the most silly, and this is my analysis, you don't have to agree, it's always going to be the most silly and craziest explanation than the most realistic one. So, you have Pentagon officials that are like, yeah, we don't actually even know if we really hit it. Oh my gosh, you people are so crazy. I think it's so funny how how there are so many people that just rage type in here. I'm sorry, it's not my fault that you have the inability to listen. It's not my fault that you can't take in the information when I'm sharing with you. Not just have your own opinion, but you literally just cannot listen. This is why the aliens have not come to... This is why the aliens don't really care about us anymore. They're like, yeah, the humans on that earth are crazy. That all being said, going further, since we bombed Iran, Iran bombs us, then Donald Trump comes out last night and basically says, congratulations to everyone. It's been fully agreed upon between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. This will be known as the 12-day war. During the ceasefire, the other will remain peaceful and respectful. So then Donald Trump posts a whole bunch of congratulations, time for peace, peace through strength, peace and harmony, Trump was right. All of these things on his Truth Social platform, which is just kind of embarrassing if you ask me. And he then also says, Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said peace. I knew the time was now. In the Middle East, they're the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. Then, after he goes out on a limb and says all those things, you have basically, you have Iran said, there's no agreement on any ceasefire. There's no agreement on ceasefire. I never agreed to that. There are even officials that are like, yeah, Iran has not received any ceasefire proposal, according to a senior Iranian official that told CNN. So, Iran never received any sort of proposal for a ceasefire. Iran doesn't want to do that anyway. Trump says that they did it, which it's very like Trump to then just try to get ahead and just say that something's happening. it's, you have to admit, it's very, very like Trump in his style to then go on Truth Social or say it prematurely, go out ahead and try to get ahead of the narrative by saying, oh, they agreed to it, they already did. It's very what Trump does. He uses the power, to his credit, of the bully pulpit in order to then steer discussion. Well, guess what? Iran doesn't want a ceasefire. I don't like that. Israel was like, yeah, we're not a fan of the ceasefire idea either. So, because they're still bombing each other. So that all being said, Trump thinks that he negotiated a ceasefire when in reality he didn't, because they're still bombing each other. I don't know what the status is now. So you'll see Iran bombs Israel, unaliving people. These are some of the plans in which Iran was bombing, doing ballistic missiles against Israel. Then Israel responds back, doing military strikes. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said on Tuesday that he had ordered the military to strike Tehran in Iran. So basically they're going back and forth, firing missiles at each other. Explosions ran out Tuesday morning, despite Donald Trump saying Israel has called airstrikes off. Well, and now Donald Trump's like, I'm very unhappy. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm very unhappy with Israel. I'm very unhappy with Iran, but more Israel. And meanwhile, you have these far right-wing people saying, oh, rather than 34 felony counts, President Trump may end up with 34 Nobel Peace Prizes. And Katie Britt basically coming along and saying, oh, he's going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, no doubt. Now, it's just so crazy. Two things. While I was compiling this story, let me give you just a quick little aside. I have to go here in a few minutes. Let me give you a quick little aside. While I was compiling my information, looking at the articles, looking at the statements, what's going on, this came across my ex Twitter feed, okay? You all know Charlie Kirk, the far right-wing propagandist. Well, I cannot verify whether this is true or not. I'm going to be clear on that. I cannot verify the merits of this post. That being said, I would not be surprised if this is real, that I saw this. So Charlie Kirk said, went to check my phone storage and saw the whole gay agenda is alive and well. Is anyone surprised? And it's literally different colors showing the different bars of what is on your phone. But look at that. Look at the last used app. For those people who do not know, or you might not be LGBTQ, Grindr is an LGBTQ, mostly men, dating site. And again, I cannot verify whether this is AI or manufactured or in any sort of sense, whether it's real or not. I cannot verify that. That all being said, if it is real, I would not be surprised. Let me tell you something. And this has been my experience. I could probably find a whole bunch of information to back this up. A lot of the most homophobic, loudmouth people are often gay themselves because they're expressing self-hatred as a way to cope with their feelings. It's and you're like, well, wait, hold on. Why do you think that? Because I was one of those people. A lot of the most homophobic people are gay themselves. Because no ordinary person is going to be thinking about and condemning gay things as much as someone who thinks about those things all the time. So it's the people who there are a lot of straight people who that are yeah, I don't care, you do you. A lot of the people who are the most homophobic straight people are gay themselves because they think about gay stuff all the time. And it's psychology. In order to then repel or rebel against the dangerous influences, they project outwards their own internalized self-hatred. I was one of those people. I know several of those people. The people that often bully gay kids often end up being gay themselves. It's just a thing. So, again, I'm not here to bring you science, data, statistics, facts on that front. But it's interesting. While I was literally compiling information for this story, I saw this. And I was like, wow. Again, I cannot confirm whether this is real or whether this is AI or if this is anything. I would not be surprised because we do know that Grindr, the gay dating site, did crash during the RNC convention. So it often happens where the people who are the most vocally homophobic are also gay themselves. Because no ordinary person that is homophobic who is actually straight thinks about gay things that much as someone who actually is. So, but it's just funny. It's just funny. While I was compiling the information for this, for everything happening. So where are we at now? Well, where we are at is, I think right now there possibly is a ceasefire. I would have to double check. Notice I use the term I think. I don't know. I think, for now at least, there has been a cessation, an ending of the fighting. That all being said, it could flip. It could flip super quick. And it's really, really crazy what's going on. And I want to make one last thing before I end the live stream and I have to get to work. I want to point out that when you asked people, American citizens, back earlier this month, do American citizens want war with Iran? Literally, this is what it looked like. Oh, no, wait. Sorry, this is what it looked like when you asked American citizens, do you want war with Iran? June 13th through June 16th. This is from the Economist YouGov poll. The Economist is, just because you think something doesn't make it true. Isn't that your logic from 5 minutes ago? Yes, you're literally echoing my point. You're echoing my point. Again, I am not saying anything to be ironclad. I said I don't have evidence, science, data, statistics to back it up. You're so close. You're so close to understanding it. I'm proud of you. Oh, bless your heart. Back to this. So, most Americans, basically between June 13th, June 16th. This is from The Economist and YouGov. The Economist is something that is a right-leaning source. When you asked Americans back at that time, a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, you asked them, hey, should our U.S. military should or should not get involved between the conflict between Israel and Iran? You see 60% of the population said no, unilaterally no. That's over 50%. You have 24%, about a quarter, say, yeah, I'm not quite sure. You have 16% of U.S. citizens say yes. And to be very, very candid, it's pretty split across the parties. Now, what's really interesting, and this is what it looks like in strengthen new me here. I think that might be strengthen numbers, but it's cut off. You can see the public support for U.S. military strikes, abroad, it's going down. Like, people don't want this. They don't want it. That all being said, this is where it's at now. Now that Donald Trump bombs Iran, a whole bunch of Republicans just get in line. They get in line. To the Republicans that actually stood their ground and actually were like, yeah, no, I still don't like it because I have an ideology that says, yeah, I don't like it, then awesome. I am so happy to see you standing and using your autonomy to think critically for yourself. This is the thing. If this was Biden, if this was Kamala Harris, where I say that war with Iran is bad, then let's say that Kamala Harris goes and bombs Iran in this exact scenario. Guess what? I